It's supposed to be really good. That series. This is his first foray. So yeah, it's doing pretty good. It's interesting because I like. I'm kind of getting burned. I'm feeling it's probably going to be like somewhere between a 3.2 and a.
That's not a bad book.
No, not a bad book, but like 10 chapters away, and I'm looking forward to finishing it. But I'm probably going to start something else today.
What are you thinking?
I might do the second book in the James Eyre Lycanius trilogy.
Oh yeah.
Because I have that, and I need to read something kind of. I've just not rebounded since the Green Bones saga.
Really?
I've not since like 2 months ago when that happened. I've just not found another book that I love.
You know what's funny about that is I actually forgot that I said I was going to read Jade War, which is the second book in the series, because I'm not like a series person. So like I read the first one and I really enjoyed it, and I was like, yeah, I would be open to reading the second. And I took it out from the library and I haven't even opened it.
No. I mean, you're reading 4 books right now. One of those 2 Jade War, balanced with the other books.
Yeah, it's not the vibe right now.
So what's helping your reading? Like, what's helping you read more right now?
Honestly, my Kindle. I feel like I go through seasons of reading ebooks versus physical books, and I've only been wanting to read my ebook lately. So I feel like that's helping me because I think it's kind of like a psychology of having the ebook and just like tapping versus like seeing the progress go from a physical book. You know what I mean?
I find that to be the complete opposite.
It usually is the opposite for me, which is why I'm like, okay, I guess I'm in the season of wanting ebooks, so I'm just gonna rock with it.
I also want to talk about, I forgot about this, DNF of Monsters and Mainframes.
Oh, right.
So this was a book that's like starting to get some buzz online about a sentient AI-powered spaceship that's trying to keep the humans on it alive, that are kind of under attack here and again by Dracula and werewolves and the Sandman.
The Sandman.
All these different kind of things.
What about the Easter Bunny?
I don't know, maybe in the second half of the book.
So why'd you DNF it?
It was mildly funny. It was mildly entertaining. But I take issue with books. I found that I don't like books that don't change setting.
Okay.
So like everything happens on this one spaceship for like 300 pages. And I found over time, like I'm reading the Sun Eater series, the book that took place on like this gigantic spaceship. I hated that book when everyone else loved it.
Oh.
So I like books that change settings, but I also found that like nothing about this book was funny enough or profound enough that like maybe it all comes together in the second half. But I'm very much a person that like a strong finish doesn't make up for the rest of the book being mediocre.
That's kind of a part where me and you historically have different opinions on.
Yeah.
Because there are a handful of books that I have recommended to you where I said like, oh, the first 3/4 of it like might not make
insane to me.
Yeah, it might not make sense, but at the end it all comes together.
There's
and
a
you're
difference.
Like, no.
There's a difference between it doesn't make sense. Like I've read books before that they don't make sense until the last third of the book, and I'm okay with that. But this was like there's a difference between not making sense and just like
bad writing.
Meh.
Yeah.
It's not bad writing, but it's just like the kids are on this spaceship. There's a werewolf. Everything's fine in the end. Kids are on this spaceship.
So
There's a Dracula.
The people that
everything is fine in the end.
The people that have liked it, what have they said are the reasons that they liked it?
That it's like unique, and I get why they're like, oh, it's unique because like it's very similar to the Murderbot series. If you've ever heard of that, where it's like AI that's almost like a character. It is a character, the main character, but like human-like, and like if you imagine what a computer would be like to interact with, this is it. Of like very deadpan, satirical humor, not satirical, deadpan humor of like, oh, these humans are always trying to die because they're so squishy and vulnerable. And like, just like, I get it, but like it's just very like you could pick any chapter of the book and they all sound the same to me.
Okay, that's fair.
So for me, what's helping reading is I quit that book. I'm reading a lot quicker because I'm enjoying it. The All That We See or Seem book has short chapters. So like today, I was sitting on the floor with our dog reading. I was going to read just one chapter and then go do something else. And I was like, it's short. I'll read another one. And I ended up reading four.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Jane Eyre, the chapters in Jane Eyre are relatively short. I think that helps a lot, especially with like the dense writing of a classic, or not even dense writing because it's very easy to understand, but just like the different type of
like that Monsters and Mainframes book. I could be brain neutral, not paying attention, skip a whole paragraph, and like I still know exactly what's happening. And that's not the case, but Jane Eyre.
Short chapters are the best. The Grady Hendrix book has like medium-sized chapters. I think everyone is around like 15 minutes staying on my ebook, so that's a good sized chapter for me.
Yeah,
15 minutes.
What is keeping you or hindering you from reading more right now? Anything?
Probably just that I keep going to bed so early. So I lay down to read and I read like one chapter and then I fall asleep.
Gotta find time during the day.
Yeah, I need to get better at that. I've been doing a pretty okay job reading in the morning, which is usually my most, like that's when I get most of my reading done, or like I'm more energized to read first thing in the morning with my coffee. But I need to get better about reading during the day instead of going on my phone.
For me, I just got back last weekend. I had a wedding in Cincinnati. And just like whenever you travel, you're like, I'm excited to read while I travel. And
I know. It's the truth. I have a flight coming up where I'm like, oh, let's see how much I can read on the flight. I'm probably going to sleep the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Realistically. But we'll see. I'll check back in with that.
All right. So today we're going to talk about a few different things. First, we're going to do, I guess, like bookshelf bingo. I don't know what to call it.
Bookshelf bingo. That's cute.
So we're going to talk about the best book that you have on your bookshelf,
okay,
the longest book, the most rereadable, and then your least liked, your most hated book, your shortest book.
Okay.
So maybe we should go in reverse order here. So we don't say that. We don't give away the good stuff first.
Oh, okay.
Shortest. What's the shortest book you have on your bookshelf? And for the record, me and Shauna have like these three big bookshelves that we kind of share, and they're starting to get about split down the middle, I'd say.
Yes.
And we both are very much of the mind, we should say this up front, that your bookshelf should be full of books that you haven't read.
Yes, agreed. I would say I can't even put a percentage on how many of the books I've actually read, but from what I have read, I would say the shortest book on my bookshelf is A Small Place by Jamaica Kincaid. It comes in at just around, I think, 81 pages. It reads a little bit more, in my opinion, of like an essay kind of format, but basically it kind of examines colonization and how a lot of times people visit areas and they appreciate it for what it is at face value, but they don't fully reckon the idea that it had been a colonized place, and that, you know, when they're visiting it and they're like, oh, it's so beautiful here. It's like, yeah, it was beautiful before it was actually colonized. So it's really good. Jamaica Kincaid is a fabulous writer. I think everyone should read something by Jamaica Kincaid. She is very lyrical and witty, and actually this book is super sharp. It starts off being, in my opinion, I was like, oh, she's like angry. It came across like kind of as like a scathing kind of commentary, but towards the end it's a lot more enlightening, and it was really good. 81 pages.
So I think that would probably be considered a novelette, right? Because I know there's like novellas and novelettes. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know exactly. It doesn't say it on the front.
I don't think they always advertise it as that, but there's probably a description, because I think of a novella as like 100
Me
pages.
too. Yeah, below less than 100 pages, I'm not. That's why I'm like, it kind of reads like an essay.
Yeah. I'm going to keep us moving along here just because I am sick, and the longer that we are recording, the more likely I am to cough, sneeze, blow my nose, something like that.
Oh.
So shortest for me is Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. This is kind of a novella telling the story of Siddhartha,
Mm-hmm.
who is known as the Buddha. And that is 150 pages, about 38 hours.
That one's on my TBR.
Yeah, that's all. It's like a classic.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't read it yet, but it's really just like being in the board, sitting down one afternoon.
For sure, yeah.
What is your longest book on the bookshelf?
The longest book that I have is War and Peace by Tolstoy. My copy is 1,350 pages, 78. And it's a book that the people who have read it have like nothing but great things to say, and they say it's one of the best classics, one of the best pieces of Russian literature. So I need to get to it.
So your book's actually longer than mine.
Oh yeah?
Mine is Brandon Sanderson's newest entry in the Stormlight Archive, Wind and Truth.
That's a huge book.
That one's 480,000 words. That one looks like sources vary, but about 580.
Wow.
590 words.
So then how many pages is...
Wind and Truth is like 1,300 or 400.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny because looking at your copy, it's so much bigger.
So Wind and Truth is, if I remember this correctly, seeing stuff about it when it's published, it is literally the biggest possible book that they could publish.
Oh my gosh.
That is the biggest that publishers can make. The pages are as thin as possible. The typeface is as small as possible.
Oh my gosh.
And the spacing is as small as possible, all that kind of stuff.
So when you were reading it, were you reading it physically?
Yes. And so I DNF'd that book. I will get to it eventually. But I like the Stormlight Archive series. I was looking forward to this book. I kind of caught up in time for it. Got some mixed reviews. I definitely agree with those reviews. There's like a lot of nothing happening. It's a lot of world building. And I got about 500 pages in when I DNF'd it. And he's not coming back to this series for like a decade.
Whoa.
There's going to be another 5 books to finish it out.
So you're like, I may as well wait.
I have time. But it was like pulling teeth. I was like a chore. I was sitting down and being like, oh, I have to read Wind and Truth.
Yeah.
Let me get through a chapter today. And I just slowly went from like sitting down and reading it to a chapter a day, in a fairly short chapters, to it sitting on the coffee table, to it sitting on my nightstand, to it sitting on the bookshelf, to like the shelf.
Yeah.
But a part of it too is like, it is so big that like I couldn't read it in bed at night. Very unwieldy.
I was gonna say, did it like break your wrist?
No, it was just like hard to balance and like it would fall out of my hands because it's not even like his other books in that series that I have are mass market paperbacks. And those are easily manageable. Although I will say I find with that book series too, the ink stains my fingers.
Really?
Yeah, because the pages are so thin.
Whoa. Okay, what's next?
Next is, let's get the easy one out of the way. What's your most rereadable book?
Oh, okay.
For me, it's Dungeon Crawler Carl or The Green Bone Saga.
Mm-hmm.
Those are one of the few books that I've read and kept and been like, I'm going to read this, and I've already reread it. So I actually listened to Dungeon Crawler Carl, bought the physical copy, so I read it this time.
Gotcha.
And then The Green Bone Saga, I bought all 3 of those. Obviously, read through them, forced you to read one, and I plan to reread them in the future. It's just like watching TV.
I have 2 books for this one. Is that okay?
I just did 2, so yes.
Okay. So the first one I have is Mary Jane by Jessica Anya Blau, I think is how you pronounce her name. And this is unlike any other book I've read. It takes place in the 70s, so it's kind of like historical fiction. But you follow this young girl, Mary Jane. I think she's probably like 14 years old. But it's not a YA book. And basically, it's about how she grew up in a really strict family. And she babysits for this family that are like quote unquote hippies, and her family doesn't really approve of them. And it's kind of like a tale of found family. They like accept her into their home and they're like teaching her about like just the world and other things and she's exposed to in her home. And it's the most wholesome book I've ever read. When I finished reading it, I just like cried happy tears. I was like, this is such a great book. And I've recommended it to countless friends, and they've read it, and they all agree that it's amazing. The second book that I have would be The Secret History by Donna Tartt, and I read it almost exactly a year ago, and I plan on rereading it this autumn, and that's why I wanted to include it, because I'm like, it's the most atmospheric book where I'm like, yeah, this is rereadable. Every season I think I'm going to feel this pull to reread it.
Interesting. And we went to Bennington, Vermont after you read it last year.
We did. We did a tour of a self-guided tour of the places that inspired The Secret History. Because if you don't know, Donna Tartt went to Bennington College, and it's what The Secret History is based on. What?
I was going to say, if you want to see what those locations look like, go to your Instagram.
It's on my Instagram. Yeah, Folklore and Fiction. I did a tour. I should actually pin it to my profile because
it's one of your best.
It's one of my personal favorites, just because it was such a passion project. And Shawn surprised me for my birthday to go drive to Vermont in the middle of the winter, and we drove around in a snowstorm to film all these places. So it was a labor of love, and I love that book so much. And seeing it come to life like that was unlike any other literary experience I've ever had.
I was also like subtly trying to cut you off because I know you talk about this book. You could do a solo monologue podcast episode about it.
Yeah, I love The Secret History. I'm not alone. It's one of the most beloved.
I see it cited in people's like very unofficial list of like what are the modern classics.
Yeah, 1,000%. And I feel like Donna Tartt is just such an incredible writer. I promise I won't go on a tangent, but also The Goldfinch could be classified probably as a modern classic too. I still have to read her other book, The Little Friend, but she just has a way of writing, and you could tell she takes her time writing. Like, she only has those 3 books, and I think there's like 10-year span between each book being released. She just is in a league of her own.
No.
She's amazing. You have to read The Goldfinch.
I will. I'll get around to it. It's
and like The Secret History. You have to read both.
I will. I'm very much a mood reader, though. So
I know.
It's got to be. So next one is Shauna's laughing because I almost burp.
He had panic in his eyes.
Next one is your least favorite or most hated.
I have a book. I have a couple books on my bookshelf that I kind of do hate that I need to get rid of. And I have 2 I'll talk about right now, and I'm not going to go into the plot of them because I could care less, and if people care, then they can look it up. The first one I have is My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otesha Moshfegh. That is like the TikTok girlies freaking love Otesha Moshfegh, and I don't get it. I read a handful of her books. I don't love them, and My Year of Rest and Relaxation I hated. The other book that I have is called Worry by Alexandra Tanner, and I read this for my book club. I'm so shocked that I even finished it because I don't want to be mean, but I just didn't like it.
Yeah, we'll be pretty quick about these. So for me, one of them is a book that we actually both read. It's funny because I saw the cover. I liked the cover. The plot seemed interesting. I bought a hardcover copy of it, read it, did not like it, told Shauna I didn't like it, told Shauna she wouldn't like it. She read it. She didn't like it. And we both hated this book so much that we gave it away for Christmas.
I do want to put a little caveat that I didn't like it nearly as much as you did. You hate this book. And I'm like, I thought it was stupid and I didn't enjoy it, but I don't hate it. He went out of his way to tell our bookseller that he hated it.
The Ministry of Time. It's the Ministry of Time. It's like an indie darling over the last year or so.
It blew up on the internet.
Yeah, so it's the speculative fiction kind of space. That's all I'm going to say about it. I'm over this book. I never want to talk about it again. The other book that I have, so we gave that one away. The one that's still on the bookshelf for me is Blood Over Brighthead by M.L. Wong.
Oh, I didn't know you were going to pick that one.
So granted, I don't hate this book. It's the least liked book that I still have on our bookshelf.
We have to do a major unhaul.
I did recently. With the exception of like 5 books, I haven't read any of the books I have on the bookshelf.
Oh, I
You
should have
need to
found
do
that
a book
quote.
haul.
We'll put the quote in the body of this episode. Remember, I said I had found
Oh yeah,
quote,
Shauna said she found an interesting quote about books on your bookshelf, and she was going to look it up. Here
and
we
then
are.
I forgot until right this second. Classic.
So, Blood Over Brighthaven is essentially it's like a cultural commentary on gender, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Like gender norms, gender
Misogyny.
roles. Yeah. And personally, I thought it was a little bit, I guess the right way to say it would be ham-fisted.
I was gonna say heavy-handed.
Heavy-handed of like,
Ham-fisted.
of like, just like, there's like, so it reminded me of Babel, but like Babel was a little bit more subtle and nuanced, whereas this was just kind of like,
yeah, they don't need to beat you over the head with commentary.
yeah, and I felt
You felt beaten down.
But I will say the author of that book, ML Wong, wrote a indie standalone fantasy called The Sword of Kaigen that is like widely held up by people as like their top 5 favorite fantasy books, their top 5 books of all time.
Really? When was that published?
In the last 5 to 10 years. But I haven't read it yet. It's on my list. I don't have a copy. It's hard for like
yeah
to like find a copy that's not $30 or $40. But I want to read it still because the book was well written. The magic system in Blood Over Brighthaven was interesting.
Yeah.
The magic is typed out, so everything you do, like magic-wise, you have to type out on a special typewriter. So it was interesting. It was unique. The world was like well fleshed out. I just didn't like the plot of the characters.
Yeah.
All right. Best book.
I think
one book, your best book on the bookshelf, your favorite book on the bookshelf.
Jeez Louise. Okay. I'm going to... Oh, crap. I have 2, Shawn.
You have 1.
No, I have 3.
You have to pick 1.
I...
Your best book. If someone said you have to pick 1 book, like I'm saying right now.
Okay. I'm going to do 1 and then a bonus. And I'm not going to pick 1 because I know you might pick it.
I think you should pick what your best book is, and you shouldn't play these games. You have to pick 1. Just pick 1.
Okay. My best book is Normal People by Sally Rooney.
Okay. Say more.
What can I say?
Not that much more.
Sally Rooney is just one of the greatest writers of our time. I think she absolutely she can do no wrong. I've read all of her books, and Normal People holds a really special place in my heart because I read it when I was kind of starting to get back into reading, and something just clicked when I read it where I was like, I need to find everything that gives me the same feeling.
Yeah. It's really nice when you find an author and you read one of their books and you're like, I want to read every person.
Yeah. So I read Normal People, and then at that point she only had Conversations with Friends out at that point. So I read that one immediately, and then I read her next one, Beautiful World, Where Are You? And then I just read Intermezzo. And Normal People, though, there's something about it that just like did it for me. And then they have an adaptation of it, and it's the best thing I've ever seen. I've never seen a book come to life in such a perfect match. Yeah, like it was aligned so well.
Give us a 1-sentence summary.
Normal People is about these 2 young adults. Basically, they, in their own way, they have limitations with how they interact with the outside world. So then for whatever reason, they can interact with each other in a way that no one else can. And are you okay?
Yeah, I'm trying not to have a cough fit. Continue.
Anyways, basically, so they can really be themselves with each other, and it's about the way that they navigate the world independently, but then they also, the way they navigate the world together, and it's a beautiful story of how relationships don't always look the same.
Yeah. Interesting.
I don't think you would like it, but
I don't think I would either. I have respect.
And then my bonus one would be The Secret History.
Shauna.
I know, sorry, I have to. And then I have a third, but you go first. You go first.
I know what your third's gonna be. It's mine, which is 11/22/63 by Stephen King.
The King. The Goat.
That's a speculative fiction about time travel back to stop JFK's assassination. And there's kind of like a love story element of it.
There is so many layers to this book, which is why I think, now I'm like, do I change my answer? 11/22/63 is hands down one of my favorite books of all time.
And I thought you were going to pick that book. That's why I pushed you to once. I was surprised you did.
Well, because I didn't pick it because I thought it'd be boring for everyone listening if we had the same.
My goal with this whole segment was to get us to align and say we have the same favorite book. We're soulmates. Ruined it.
Okay, we are though, because that one is tied for first, I would say.
We might have to do a standalone episode about that. But like, if you want a 5-star book, it's a little on the longer side. If you're,
it took me a long time to get through it, but I also didn't want it to end.
You were also very early on in your reading journey.
Yeah, so I was like, what the hell? It's gonna take so long.
700 pages.
Yeah, no, I think it's like 900.
Sure. Anyways,
best book ever.
Excellent book.
It's also adapted as well.
The adaptation's pretty good.
It's not bad.
It's not. Yeah. So much of Stephen King stuff has been adapted. Stop doing that. So much of Stephen King stuff has been adapted, and it's really not bad. It's got, who's it, James Franco?
Yeah, James Franco, and I actually don't even know who played Sadie, but all the actors were incredible.
If it wasn't James Franco in it, like, no one would ever talk about that, probably.
It's so interesting because I feel like from a historical perspective and the set design and the costumes and everything, the quality was fabulous.
Yes, the thing that I like most about 11/22/63 is, like, there's a speculative fiction element, which I obviously love. I like love stories that are, like, very realistic, like dark matter, relatable, not like romancy.
This was a good relatable one, yeah.
And I like character studies where, like, you just watch this character live for multiple years.
Yep, that's my favorite too.
And then Stephen King's writing style is so great. Like, Stephen King just describing a root beer. I sat down that chapter and I was like, I'm going to go buy a root beer.
I know exactly the scene you're talking about too, when he's at the diner.
Yeah.
Well, we agree that that's the best book. I'm changing my answer officially.
You heard it here first. All right, next thing I have for us is, I just looked at all of my notes. Okay.
That was it for the bookshelf bingo?
Yeah, that's bookshelf bingo.
Wow.
And now I want to talk about your favorite books. What was your favorite book as a kid, like a little kid?
Oh, shoot. I mean...
So for me, it was like Rainbow Fish. Everyone knows The Giving Tree.
I was just about to say The Giving Tree. Also, Goodnight Moon.
Goodnight Moon.
Yeah.
I didn't really read that book that much. I know we had it. Shel Silverstein.
Yep.
Where the Sidewalk Ends. And
The Giving Tree. You read The Giving Tree. Shel Silverstein. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think so, but...
Fact check me.
So what would be your number one favorite book?
As a kid?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'll say...
Like, what book were you...
Actually, I'm going to throw you a curveball.
Would your mom associate with you?
Okay, I'm going to throw you a curveball. It is Shel Silverstein. Okay, yeah. The record shows that I was correct about that. The Giving Tree was written by Shel Silverstein. I'm going to throw a curveball and say that my favorite type of literature growing up was actually the Archie comics.
Okay.
I read those like nonstop, and we had so many of them that I don't know what we did with them. They probably would be worth some money today, the original Archie comics, but my whole family read those.
It's funny because my only exposure to the Archie comics, I mean, it's funny, that's probably why you like Riverdale so much. My only exposure to the Archie comics was, I remember, like, my great grandma had the jugs of Double Bubble.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And
they have the comics wrapped around.
Yeah, so I just had like stacks of these little numbers.
Oh yeah, the actual comic books though, there was nothing like reading an Archie comic.
So for me, it was Everybody Poops.
Oh, I knew you were gonna pick that.
That was a big book in our family. It was well done. What is your favorite as an adolescent?
I don't know, because I feel like I stopped reading for a chunk, but I want to say probably Harry Potter books. Harry Potter books are an obvious one. I kind of don't really talk about them as much anymore, but...
Did you read all of them?
No, because I was kind of like a bratty teenager that didn't have time for reading. But I read the first couple.
Yeah.
And then I watched the movies as they came out, and then I was like, at that point in my reading career, I was like, who needs to read the books if you just watch the movies? And then as an adult, I went back and I reread all of them.
For me, I'd say Harry Potter, definitely. I had like a weird connection with it too, where my grandparents came up to visit from South Carolina. They took us to the store. I remember it being Costco. Weird. Costco. But they were like, oh, everyone's talking about this Harry Potter thing. They bought me a copy of Sorcerer's Stone.
Really? Okay.
Which I found out recently was the Philosopher's Stone in the UK.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then we went to go see the movie, like literally right after that.
After you bought it? So you didn't read it yet?
So it was weird. I saw the movie and then I read the book. And then my parents were like, we're not buying you all 8 of these books. They're too expensive to get them from the library. But at the time, they were so popular, you couldn't get them from the library. So, like, I remember thinking, like, the coolest kid in school is the one who, like, walked around with, what's the really big one?
The Deathly Hallows.
The Deathly Hallows hardcover copy.
Yep, I thought the same thing. And it's funny because at that time, like I said, I thought I was too cool for school. And I was like, I don't need to read the book. But I do remember this one girl in particular in one of my classes when the Deathly Hallows came out, and she would walk around for like a week with that book under her arm. And I remember thinking it was like so cool. And I was like, man, I kind of wish I would read that. But then at that point, I would have to go back and reread the whole series. And I was like,
nah, I'm good.
Yeah, I was like, I'll just watch the movies.
So another one for me was Call of the Wild. But I think it's Jack London.
Call of the Wild? What's that one about?
It's like about a kid who gets like stranded in the wilderness.
What's that one that the movie... Oh, what's the movie about? You know what I'm talking about. The guy gets lost in the Alaskan wilderness. Into the Wild.
Into the Wild.
I read that one as an adolescent as well.
Interesting.
I'm pretty sure.
Sure? Because that's a true story.
Yeah, I know. It's not fiction.
Okay. I like John Krakauer's work. He also wrote a book about Everest and then Pat Tillman as well.
Yeah.
The other books that I liked where there was a series of like adolescent chapter books called like The Name of the Baseball Player and Me. So like Jackie and Hannah Sidney, or like Jackie Robinson, Hannah Wagner.
What was the book about?
It was, so this is like my earliest foray into science fiction or fantasy, speculative fiction, where this kid had a special power where if he like held a baseball card a certain way, he would time travel into that time and like have adventures with baseball
I've
players.
never heard of this.
That and then Captain Underpants blew up.
Oh, how can I forget Captain Underpants? Remember the Scholastic Book Fairs? I have the most vivid memory of my mom giving me money for the Scholastic Book Fair, and I bought a Captain Underpants
There
book.
is probably a huge market of money to be made for like adult Scholastic Book
Dude,
fairs.
Are you kidding? I would ball out.
And I know they have book conferences, so maybe we'll have to go to one.
Yeah, we should actually. But there was no, going back to the book fair, there was no better feeling than getting that. Do you remember you would get like the catalog ahead of time that would show
we never
you?
got the catalog.
Okay, so at school, they handed us the catalog before the fair would come. So you can like look through the catalog and see what you would want. And I remember like circling things.
So this explains your villain origin story.
Oh yeah, I need to.
Everywhere we go to eat, every time we go to buy something, yeah. Shauna has to know in advance what exactly she's going to get. So
I like to be prepared.
She won't go to a restaurant won't go to dinner at a restaurant if she can't look at the menu in advance.
Okay, whoa, that is not true. There are many, many, many more times than not where I will roll with it and I'll go wherever everyone else is going and I won't look up the menu. But if it's just like me and you and we're like trying to decide where to go, I'm going to look up the menu.
I also need to point out that 99% of the time it's just me and you. We're not like rolling around after people.
Anyways, a lot of people do this.
And me personally, I like the excitement and adventure of not knowing what I'm going into.
Yeah, Shawn also is the type of person that will like just go to some random place he sees on the side of the road, and he's willing to have a bad meal if it means finding something new. I play it safe. I'm like, let's look up reviews, let's see how many stars it has.
And you still get disappointed.
I know.
And you don't have the joy of that high of finding something new unexpected.
It's a personal problem.
So what about earliest adult recreational reading? So like 18, 17 plus. Like the first couple books you got read when you like went back into reading. For me, it was The Martian by Andy Weir.
Okay.
And American Sniper. Like the story about Chris Kyle that turned into a movie.
Yeah, I would say mine was probably Little Bee by Chris Sleeve. It's an insanely sad, depressing story, but it kind of like
And that made you want to read more.
Well, yeah, it helped me understand the types of stories that I like to read, which oftentimes the not is about like just how harrowing the human experience can be, but also like on the flip side, the beautiful like shimmers that come through as well. So that definitely is what I gravitate towards. But I remember that being like in my early adulthood, a book that like I still remember it to this day, the experience of reading it.
Mm.
I can picture it perfectly. And I cried a lot. Usually if a book makes me cry, it's a good book in my opinion.
You ever cried because you hated a book so much?
No.
Not yet. Still
Not yet.
Go back and reread Ministry of Time.
That yeah.
All right. I had some more stuff for us today, but I don't think I can go on any longer without having a coughing fit.
Okay, we're signing off.
It's also been 45 minutes since we started this, so.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, all the places you do YouTube or podcast stuff. Say bye, Shawn.
Happy reading.
All right. Love ya. Bye.